Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Xposure Runs, the podcast. I'm your host, Mustafa. Today I got my co-host, technically, but he's also our producer, our editor, our director, our everything in between when it comes to the technical side of the podcast, the reels, everything that we do for the podcast and Xposure Runs as it relates to trying to get this stuff out there. We have our guy Bo Harris here. I'm so used to him sitting over there.
Yeah, I know, right?
But now he's sitting to my right, which is pretty nostalgic because technically you've become my right-hand man. So you're sitting to my right. You see how I do that?
Word.
You see how I do that?
For sure.
All right, so today we just gonna kind of do something a little different with the podcast. We don't have no guests. It's just us. Y'all gonna get a dose of us today.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of things since the start of the summer. Since Memorial Day. I mean, even before Memorial Day, but Memorial Day really just kind of kicked off our summer in true form, which Memorial Day is literally the unofficial/official start to the summer anyway.
Calendar-wise, yes,
Calendar-wise, it's
yes,
the official. Barbecues, shout out to the veterans of the world, yada, yada, so
parades,
on and so forth, parades. And so we had always talked about it. And it was just one of them things. Another one of my throw something against the wall and see if it sticks.
For sure.
So, I mean, when we are sitting down having our official business conversations, which we do a lot, and I know that you've accepted that's how I operate, but you do a good job of kind of all right, well, let's think. When I give those examples, you're really good at I see that. I'm going to use that again as one of my examins of this bullshit. just so you prepare for that.
It's all good.
But we got a very healthy yin and yang.
I agree.
Thing. You do a lot of great things on the business side too. Chief among them to me is just kind of planting mental seeds in my mind to be able to really turn that corner of what we doing here from Xposure Runs, right? And I found myself since our last conversation, literally almost 45 minutes out in the parking lot one day.
Yeah.
I found myself lately just really trying to be more conscious of how to get more business oriented. A lot of what I do and a lot of how I operate, with the exception of when it comes time to do the events, but the ideas of the events is literally me sitting at home just kind of thinking of different things, throwing them against my mental wall, and seeing what sticks, and then kind of piecing together something. And you do a good job of really all right, well, let's write this down. Let's kind of tease this out. Let's get more serious about the pros and cons of doing it, the financial whatever of doing it. How can we stay elite and cut costs?
Yeah.
How can we not cut costs and still be elite?
Still be elite.
And, you know what I'm saying? So and then just kind of taking the platform to a profitable level.
Yeah.
Right. So you do a really good job of that. So
shout out.
Shout out to you for that. And so that's just a kind of we was talking off camera about being able to break down people's strengths.
Right. That's important.
That's important.
You got to do that.
You got to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then you got to be able to receive what people's thoughts of your strengths are. It's not just saying that is the end all be all of your strengths.
Right.
That's just something that to that person is what sticks out among the many strengths. These are the things.
And it's good to know, because if you put yourself in a position where you're trying to always better yourself with anything you do, you got to know when
you got a baseline.
My people are telling me this. Let me look at it for real. You know what I'm saying? I know my strengths for sure, but they saying this, so let me check it out and see what goes with it. And if it works, it works. And if not, then...
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, again, we since the start of the summer, Memorial Day, again, we've been working nonstop.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped. Actually, we picked up a lot with what we're doing. And it's a good feeling, man. It really is.
And we've been working with, talking to, brainstorming, with a lot of different supportive people, way too many people to name.
For sure.
I get DMs.
We try to do that. We be bogus.
Yeah, we would be bogus because we would forget somebody for sure. I think about Kiwan and Charles when we did their All-Star, their future All-Star event. I think about the Illinois Get Down.
Yeah.
I think about
classic.
the classic. Shout out
You
to
know what
Coach
I'm
Rob
saying?
and Coach Slaughter
For sure.
for believing in us and having us down there as
Yeah.
part of that. Shout out to Derek and Spence for
Yeah.
doing the grind session.
Chrissy, have us coming
Shout
out
out to
there for
Chrissy,
the
all the
tournament
schools,
and media
and
day
Andre.
in Kenwood. Yeah,
Yeah,
Andre.
like it's so many people, bro. Like
Yeah.
you know, Parham for having
Parham.
us cover his
That whole
his
tournament, his
Christmas
winter tournament.
winter
Yeah.
tournament. We saw some players, TJ Seal and a couple of other players that we kind of like. Why is nobody talking about them? Shout out to Levante.
Yeah.
And Butler Prep. Shout out to Coach Harvey Jones at Olive Harvey. Something is super duper in the works with that.
It's played sometimes, but it really is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
really
real.
crazy. And then
Yeah.
shout out to I just had an article written up about us. I want to make sure I correctly get the platform. They just did an article on the Xposure Runs platform. So forgive me while I go to my phone because I have to make sure I properly give the proper due. It's a platform by the name of it's called Passion and Purpose. The gentleman's name, I believe his name is Davis Garrison, I think is his name, who is in charge of the platform. But he reached out to me. He's creating this platform of just kind of highlighting people who has impacts on sports. Mm-hmm. He did a nice article on Xposure Runs. And one of the things he said to me in the text, and even when we were talking, is that he was very impressed. And sometimes I'm kind of impressed with myself with recognizing that where we've grown to is not without a lot of people's help that did not include money.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? From yourself to Anthony and Grant
SVI
to Colorful Experience, the marketing platform. Actually, not even platform. They're like a huge marketing company.
Yeah, they get busy.
They get busy.
They got
Shout
a lot
out
of
to
things
Brendan.
too. Y'all check them out.
You got Rio Events, the guy who does he does pictures. He got the photo booth.
Yeah.
Who else am I missing? We got. I mentioned you already. We got the support from the Dinar Bros, of course.
Love them guys, man.
Yeah, I
Straight
love
up.
Anthony. Eddie and Aubrey.
Yeah, Aubrey, man. Them guys, man.
Their whole team, man. It's just so. It's just
lot.
so many people,
Yeah.
and then when you think about what we're doing, as it relates to everything that we do, just like the media people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they are like unsung heroes in basketball. Like you got the players, you got the coaches, right? You got just the schools that they may attend, the nostalgia of those schools and even their AAU platform. But honestly, when you think about it, none of that shit really matters without the media people.
They put it out there.
They do put it out there.
Yeah.
I saw this article. I saw this, and I hate the fact that I'm going to quote him, but he's right because he's kind of a lame. Doc Rivers' son, Austin. He a lame to me, right? But he had a really dope quote where he said, kind of like back in the day when he was coming up doing AAU, you had to be elite
to get that type of exposure.
To get that type of exposure, those type of mixtapes.
Yeah.
We're now living in the social media era, and I thought that was kind of a lame comment, although it was true.
Well, yeah, it's not.
And it really made me think about like, well, was he that elite? Because I think his era was kind of the turnover of when media started to kind of really get involved.
It was in its infant form where everybody had
you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
right.
So like what? I don't really know. I didn't really follow him that much, but he had a good point. But my point is, we're now living in the social media era. And a lot of the media people, whether they're just getting started out or they're as established as YB and Who Vibes and all of them guys and even Slow Shade, a lot of these guys are like, they're positioning themselves to take that next
It's a go
jump.
to the next level because it's a great thing. It's so many. It's a pool of players that you can pick from. You don't have, everybody doesn't have to do the same.
The
guy.
same player.
So it works out, and I'm
You can
seeing
get your niche off of you know what I'm
being
saying?
creative with this team of guys. You know what I'm saying?
And
Or whatever, and it works out.
imagine being the media person who's responsible for breaking the whatever of a player nobody knows. Like everybody knows Davion, everybody knows Jackson, everybody knows Gabe, Morez, Jeremiah and Jeremy, Jordan. Everybody knows them players, right? Which is kind of what Xposure Runs kind of started off as being. Everybody knows those players.
Right.
Imagine if you had a game and you break the player of, say, like a Tristan Jones.
Yeah.
I remember when we had YB on here, I forgot the player he mentioned, but he said that he was one of the ones that broke the notoriety of a player. And I forget who the player was. I would have to go back and watch. But you know, shout out to YB, the OG, the longevity in this game. And you know, now the new wave of these young guys, and just to kind of name a few that's been rocking with us. Of course, we're gonna start with our guy Mario.
Oh, for sure.
You know, Vivid Rio, like he's been rocking with us. But
for Rio.
yeah, like
for sure.
Rio is like he like a little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, he Rio's like a little brother. So then, of course, you got Blue Cup Film. Shout out to, I love that young lady.
Yeah. She on point.
She on point.
And I love her personality.
I love her personality,
Yeah.
and just think about the growth. Like I remember when I first met her, she was one of the ones that was at the crib that came to do Zay's prom.
I remember. You're right. Yes,
Her,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
of course we got our guy Dylan, of course.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Shout out to her. She got the fancy little camera now. She done upgraded her life.
Evolving,
She got
for sure.
merch now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I see it. Yeah, she did.
Like, like then you got Miss T. You know, Miss T is the OG.
Shout him out.
She you know she like auntie in the game. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
And all
yeah.
I've watched her interact with the other media people who this is what I love about what we do. When they come to our events, I be watching them interact. And they be showing love to each other, and I
It's
love
all
that.
love, man. We roll in love. We do this all in love.
I love
bro.
that. Then we got Casey Caps. Of course, we got our guy Kevin from Estabella AIM. It's so many people. You got No Love Pack, Sean Just Snap, Sideline View, ScoMo Photo. So many people that I can name. And if I didn't name you, it's not on purpose. It's just like
It's a lot of people to name.
it's just a lot of people to name. But if you have been to an Xposure Runs event, if you DM us, if you're in this group that we have now, right? You got Shots by Nick, Blue Cuts, yourself, Casey Cap, Estabella, GBL Ant, Ibra Amazing, KRP Shy, Kai Films, Mario, of course, No Love Pack, Sean Just Snap, Sideline View, ScoMo Photo, Miss T, Zay Created, and Zeke Media. They're in our group right now when we are doing stuff. So shout out to y'all. But anybody that's not in this group, but you have been to one of our events, I just want to just say genuinely, like, thank you. Like, Xposure Runs would not have been able to kind of grow from where we started to even where we are now in the timeline, which is literally right here.
Yeah,
in
we
the
only just
timeline.
begun.
Like, it doesn't happen without y'all.
Yeah.
And some of these players don't get the recognition without y'all.
Facts.
Like, I need y'all to understand that. The players need to understand that whether they do or not. A lot of them don't get the notoriety, the follows, the mentions, the retweets, the re-stories, the anything without that content.
Yeah. They need those dope pictures, those awesome videos.
And that's why they be so thirsty for them. Because they know.
Yeah.
And so I need them to be more willing to, show that love to those guys, because some of them are, it's like, this is a good analogy because your wife is a musician and my brother and sister-in-law. Think about those beginning parts of when you're not getting paid.
Yes.
You're not getting paid to show up to these gigs, and sometimes you're outperforming the star.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And people are starting to you building your fan base. That's what these media people are doing. They showing up to these events. Sometimes they don't get paid. If I got extra, I always try to give extra to them.
Sure.
But I mean, that's just, they show up to other people's events. They might not get none. They showing up out of the love for what they're doing. Sometimes it ain't even about the love of the game.
No,
it's just the love of what they're doing content-wise.
It's that purpose, man.
Right? So they showing up. Gas is like 2 babies and 1 child.
For sure.
At the gas pump.
Gotta account for traffic because you're traveling.
You're traveling. And then you got to deal with, I don't even know if she want me to say this, but then you got to deal with motherfuckers who DM you for pictures or video, and you tell them, I got it. There's no problem. Like, this is what it'll cost.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just want.
That's a problem. It's an issue. It's wild.
Like, pay for the content.
That's a weird activity. That's really weird
Pay
activity.
for the content.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't want to pay for the content, then I encourage the media people to be okay with walking away.
Yeah.
That's where we're getting at. When we are now in a place where people want us to come places, we either do it because we rock with them for the love, but if it's a cost associated with it, we're okay with walking away from that opportunity if they don't want to meet that cost. Now, we'll meet them, and we can even negotiate.
Yeah.
But
for sure. But it's all about understanding your time, the value of it, because it's not like you're going to not stop doing what you're doing because you don't take that gig. You're going to still create content. You're going to still show up to games. It's just that one player just missed the beat.
Missed the beat.
It's cool. We'll see you next time. Might catch you another game. It's all right.
Because you'll double back before I will.
Of course.
You're double back before I will. So y'all got to be okay with just being okay to walk away from situations that just doesn't, make sense to y'all financially.
Yeah.
At the very least, you should at least be looking to get your gas money back.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
So when you're price pointing something for a player or coach or university or whatever, keep in mind the amount of gas that it took to get there, your time. So your baseline to me to fill up my car is $80 to fill up my car.
Okay.
I'll meet you halfway and say 50.
That's fair.
I at least need to get my gas money.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't give me gas money, then thank you, but no thank you.
It's very real.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, when we do the runs on Monday, whatever is left over, I divvy it out to give them something. It may not be the equivalent to filling up their tank, but you can get yourself something to eat. You could put that little bit of money, you could put that little bit of money in the gas tank.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we gotta find ways. I try to find ways to show my appreciation.
We all got to find ways to show appreciation because it's just good business.
Yeah.
We don't want to get in the
Time
process
is money.
of course.
Time is money.
And respect that. You know what I'm saying?
Time is money.
Respect that because at the end, because once the content is captured, we still got to go chop it down, edit it, put effects on it, then put it out. It's one hand washing the other. Your company's going to value from it. I'm going to value from it, of course, because I put let's just all make it work for everybody.
Even Kev said, he's been getting a lot more people reaching out to him. I mean, I'm sure all of them have, and this is not for me to kind of go, but I recognize the value of the platform. And so when people come and, shoot our events and the re-stories and stuff, like we just did a thing, even when people collab with me, it's helping me.
Yeah. It's one hand washing. It really is.
Shout out to One Tap.
We just keep. I think it's if you look at it from an aspect that we just make sure that we have enough stuff going on that y'all can always show up here,
One Tap posted a video last night, collab with me. That video is almost at 8,000 clicks. We had one that
video was raw too.
Yeah, that video is raw.
Yeah.
I had a picture that we did with Darius. That joint is over 10,000. You know what I'm saying? We got one. I posted the video of my nephew. That joint currently right now is at almost 275,000 clicks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
we're just trying to make sure everybody eat, bro.
That's it.
Everybody
even today, I reached out to Will he didn't ask me to do this, but I reached out to Will on behalf of Kevin and sent him the link of the pictures he did last night, which we'll talk about the league.
Yeah.
And I told Will, I said, yo, man, check out these pictures that Kevin did. Here's an opportunity for him and for you. Get yourself an official media guy. Get these pictures. Get your league popping.
Man.
Take care of my boy.
Yeah.
This ain't got nothing to do with me because it ain't no. I'm not this. Chicago and Philadelphia, for the record, is a huge kickback town.
Yeah.
I don't want none of his bread. I just want to make sure Kevin eat because when he eats, then that makes him more inclined to want to do more with and for us.
One hand washes the other, bro. It's just everybody eat. That's the thing. It's the growth aspect of it, man. It's the growth aspect of it. We want everybody to grow. There is no ceiling. There is no pigeonhole. There is no gatekeeping.
No,
everybody
not even.
come on, you trying to go up? We going up? You going up? Let's go. Let's keep going up.
That's really all it is. When I get to one level, I'm not gonna get to the top and then drop the ladder down. I'm gonna get like maybe 1 or 2 levels, drop that rope down, bring somebody up. Then the expectation is you drop that rope down for somebody else.
Just keep it going.
And keep it going.
'Cause
That's what community is.
It makes the culture better, the community stronger. You know,
for sure.
It changes the narrative, man. And it's funny because I keep hearing people say it. I think that's the actual vibe. I was talking with Bo Buckets at the run, and we were saying the same thing.
He's another one. How can I forget? I apologize, bro. How can I forget? He came, did the one video.
That video was crazy. That was crazy, period.
Listen,
just to see
and here's the crazy thing is, and this ain't no whatever. I actually thought he was going to do a longer joint, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Where he did the video of Zay getting all the steals. That video is already at 48,000.
Man, shout out to Bo Buckets, man. That was so funny to see that happen in real time. But for him to capture it and leave it like that,
as if it was real time.
Perfect.
Shout out to Bo Buckets. And I'm gonna say something about him is that this guy, he's so quiet and so like reserved, but then to watch his videos and the energy in his videos, it's like an amazing transformation.
It is. It's dope. It's super dope.
That shit is so decent
to me.
Super dope. Like his personality, and when you see him, he comes to the gym. First of all, you may not even notice him.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't know what he already looks like.
Yeah.
And he kind of is like in the cut. He get his footage. When you talk to him, his voice matches, which throws you off guard.
The whole thing is dope.
It's just decent. But then like to watch his videos that don't match his outwardly personality in person. So I want to be a fly on the wall when he's doing his editing.
Man, bro, like I said, I was talking to him, and I was like, I totally get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because how we were saying, like, travel, right? The way he travels, man, he's way out. You know what I'm saying?
He's all over.
Way out.
He's
everywhere.
He's
you know
everywhere.
What I'm saying? So his dedication speaks volumes of one thing. The content he creates is funny. It's original.
Super funny.
You know what I'm saying? And it's coming from a different, I like his perspective. You know what I'm saying? So seeing all that and then, like I said, conversing with him and then seeing his, like you say, his appearance and how he shows up, like his demeanor. It's like, oh, it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it hit like that, because you don't see it coming. You
definitely don't see it coming. So no, shout out to him, man. Like I really appreciate him showing up. So anyway, back to, we started doing the open runs on Memorial Day weekend. It was a great turnout. It was so much of a great turnout that the gym that we had it at was like super surprised. And shout out to Will for making that happen too.
Yes, sir.
And we got an opportunity to see some other players that we are going to be covering this year, obviously, because we now, really Gianni's class, the 24s, was the last of the people that I knew from growing up. I remember Gianni was a shorty.
Oh, shorty.
So that class is now graduated. The 25s on, I don't really know nobody.
We got to get to know them all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Gabe and Jackson, but we met Davion. We met them over the last couple of, BJ, of course, but then you got Devin Cleveland, you got John, you got, I'm at 5, so it's
what's buddy at Rich?
You got not Carson. His name is
Oh man.
Damn, what is his name? Jameson.
Sorry
about that, Jameson. Jameson.
Sure.
Like he's gonna have a big year.
He's gonna have a great year.
And shout out to Mark, Coach Mark. He texted me when I was on my way over here too. Just to have the coach's support, man. That's really dope. So we're trying to get some of them guys in the runs too. Gabe said he's gonna slide through. I met a new guy that I want to say ASAP put me on to, or AR rather put me on to. His name is Ben Ojala.
Ben Ojala?
Yeah, Ben Ojala. I've been DMing with the young man. I'm trying to get him out to a run. He played for Mean Streets.
Okay.
I don't know what high school he goes to. I'll find out what high school he goes to, so forgive me for not knowing right in the moment. And that's the beauty of what we do. Like, I ain't going to pretend like I know everything.
Because that'd be wild if we did. That's arrogant, and that's just false. You know what I'm saying? And I love the fact that we're learning, and people are learning, are growing, and watching us learn and grow with us in real time. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they love about it, too.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Ben. I'm trying to get him out to a run. It's just meeting some of the players. The funny part to me is everybody want to come to a run. Everybody think that they elite.
Yeah.
finish my thought. Let me finish my thought.
Yeah. I know where you're going.
Let me finish my
and that's
thought.
hilarious. Go ahead.
Let me
Go
finish
ahead,
my
my boy.
thought.
Go ahead.
Everybody want to come to a run.
For sure.
Everybody think they're elite.
Yeah.
And just right now, everybody's not.
Man, that last stream will show you. That last stream will show you, boy. And you like to charge people to just watch.
I'm not saying that as a. Okay, I'm lying. I am kind of
He's
saying
saying what it is. It is what it is. It ain't like
because everybody wants to be in that environment, and I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's gonna show though on that. It's what y'all say. When you ranked up with a ranked player, they say they're ranked number this. You say you're ranked number that. We all gonna see on that court. You know what I'm saying? And it shows.
It do
It's
show.
It's showing. It's showing.
It do show.
Yeah.
It do show. And what I'm seeing is that I'm seeing first and foremost I was going to say scared, but I don't want to call it scared. The confidence just isn't there. The skill set.
Skill set is most definitely.
It's just not there.
Yeah.
The IQ is definitely not there.
You know what though? Is it because I don't see it being an ego thing. I don't see it being a selfishness thing because I see the ball get shared, especially on those teams that go on those runs. It's ball movement all in that. You know what I'm saying?
What did I tell them last night
Yeah.
at the league?
Yeah.
Teams that win these pro-am leagues is teams that share the ball.
Yeah.
We all know that y'all can score, right? I'll give you a prime example. I'm gonna pick on him just a little. This is me picking Caleb. This is me picking on Caleb.
Okay.
And Caleb is my guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Kenyon, shout out to Asher. Caleb sometimes in the open runs, and this is feedback I've gotten from players, and this is feedback you can see it on the fucking stream.
Yeah.
Caleb sometimes has a tendency to dribble a lot. Just trying to find his move or trying to find, where people were just like, nobody's doing nothing. So whatever. Last night, he didn't do that at all. He moved that ball. He drove the lane. He was very decisive. He on a couple different plays. Matter of fact, 2 plays, Caleb got us back in the game where he drove the lane, got an and one.
Yeah.
Made it, hit the free throw, drove the lane again, got fouled. I can't remember if he made the free throw or not. But
That was a 3-point play on that one.
both was.
Yeah.
Did he make both of them?
No, the one he missed, but what's the name? Got a tip in.
Oh yeah, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle got the tip in. Right. Those are prime examples of when Caleb is being decisive and not over dribbling and just attack. He is so tough to guard.
Yeah.
He's so tough to guard.
Yeah.
So, taking the skill set of Caleb and then when it tailors off to players who that's all they want to do is dribble, you're not that good. Caleb is good. You're not that good. And it was a process for Caleb because when Caleb played at Carmel Catholic, when his brother and this other kid I think his name was Brandon. No, not Brandon. Dark-skinned young man. I forget what his name is. But when Asher and this other young man, Moore, I think his last name is Moore, when they were the star players, when Zay was at Marist, Caleb was one of the young guys. So he had to kind of work his way up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, once Asher went to school and the kid Moore went off to school, it became
Caleb's
team or whatever, along with the other guys that was on that team. But, yeah, some guys, they want to be in that gym with these guys, and it's just...
It shows.
You're just not ready.
But, it can be a learning experience as well. That's what I like about the whole situation. Like, even when mentioning the streams, like, if you can actually really use that as a resource, you know what I'm saying, to see how you actually perform. Because when you do upper runs, they're not... recorded. It's just I was in the moment type situation. But these things can happen when you're getting in other leagues. You got to know how to adjust what you're doing. And if you got that for a resource to use, why not, take advantage?
The additional beauty in the live stream and is just the raw form of the basketball that's being played and an actual professional coach or scout can look at a player, mistakes and all, and say and realize, like, I can actually see the potential in this kid.
Facts.
I can actually see why he made that mistake.
Yeah.
I can actually see why he made that decision.
And I can help. Yeah.
And I can help.
Yeah.
Like I know now I have a baseline of where I need to start at in correcting to make him better. Oh, okay. He likes to dribble. He don't really go left. His dribble's too high. His dribble's too low. Something. Okay, I could start right there.
Yeah.
And maybe add another 5 points to just that move he was attempting to do. So that's the beauty of the live stream. So,
Yeah.
Shout out to Caleb, shout out to Ashley, shout out to their dad, Kenya, and their mom, of course. It's been I really appreciate them, just kind of like trusting us and just having fun with us. And last night was fun.
Last night was very fun.
Last night was really fun. Yeah. Shout out to Will. Shout out to all them guys at the Anyone Can Get It League, the Midnight Madness League. It was just fun. The pro am. Definitely, while I'm shouting out Will, I want to make sure that I give my flowers to Alex Brown of the Madison Pro Am, who really he was the first one to give us an opportunity to do that. And now that people saw that with some of those same young guys from last night that was younger,
right?
Now they see we can put together a team that, they may not win the game, but they're going to make your ass work for the win that you got, and they're going to get the respect of their opponent, which they got last night.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? One of the guys was like, these high school kids?
I know, right?
And I was like, well, they just graduated. They just graduated. Some of them is first and second year. Some of them will be first year college players. Some of them is going into second year. So
that's what I liked about it, though. Seeing we are the young guns coming up in here. You know what I'm saying?
They're the new, when that wave of the pros clear out, it's going to be these guys.
Exactly.
That's going to be in them leagues and holding on to the city's, to Chicago's legacy of basketball players. It's these guys, really. So last night was cool. We played a team last night. I think it was the Runners, and we lost by 2. Gianni almost did what Gianni does best, because the kid is a winner. We should have won the game, but we ain't going to harp on that.
Not at all.
It was fun.
Learning experience,
and they really just accepted the coaching.
Yeah.
And I don't pretend like I'm no super coach, but I know. I tell you what I do know. I know people.
Yeah.
I know people. I know their habits. I know their tendencies, and I feel like I know how to tap into someone's abilities.
I was watching last night, and like I said, I was from the difference between the Indiana the Indiana event and last night
Midwest Challenge.
The Midwest Challenge, thank you, because I was going to call it something totally different. Thank you.
Midwest Challenge. Shout out to SBI.
Shout out to SBI.
Prep Balls, All Stars.
Yeah. So I was peeping the difference, and I'm like, okay, so Aubrey was doing it when we were in Indiana at the challenge. I'm like, all right, you're putting your input in, but you're running a lab and everything like that. So I'm seeing, and then I saw how you were working it, how you were maneuvering and working. It wasn't hands-on. It wasn't complaining. It wasn't, hey, guys, look, y'all didn't have some fun. This is what's working. This is what ain't working. And I'm going to see it. I'm calling out on it. The way you were rotating in, you know what I'm saying?
I felt like that was my best strip yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was the other ref that was sitting right there where we were at.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've recognized with coaching is that a lot of times when referees in the game table is hitting the buzzer and trying to get the other team out, to me that's unnecessary. All that extra talking and all that extra woo-ha-ha-ing and this.
That's cute.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
I need you to box out. For instance, it was one play where George had his man completely sealed and boxed out. So with him fighting with him, he couldn't get the rebound. I think it was Kyle on the other side who was getting ready to box out. His movements was to box out. Davion was the man who shot the ball, right? So after he shot the ball, when the ball came off, it kind of landed right near George, but George is fighting. The ball literally came right back to Davion, right? And Davion, not so much stood there, but he didn't turn to look for his man to see where he was going.
I remember this play. I remember this.
Right? Yeah. And so George couldn't get to the ball. I think it was Kyle. Might have been Kyle or Ash. I can't remember who was across the lane. He couldn't get to the ball, but the ball was right there. Davion turned nobody got the ball. If I'm not mistaken, Davion's man got the rebound.
They did.
But here's the dope part about that. When I explained that to Davion, he instantly knew, yeah, you're right. That definitely was my loose ball. I definitely should have got that ball. It's stuff like that that I really love when I talk to them guys, because it's not a blame thing. It's not a whatever. It's just pointing out, hey, that was a missed opportunity that could have turned into a score. I'll give you another example. I actually think this play was Davion too. Is he got the rebound. He could have kicked it up to Zay for what probably would have been the 2. If nothing else, could have been a foul.
Yeah.
When he finally did give it to Zay, I felt like Zay shot I don't want to say unnecessary 3, but I felt like we could have got a better shot. Of course, we missed, and then they got back and scored. So we missed an opportunity for sure 2 points and gave up 3. And so like that,
The IQ of it all.
the IQ of it all.
IQ of it all.
But in the long grand scheme of things, just the way that the game kind of flowed with everybody like locking in. And so then I told you this morning, I felt like Zay was a little salty at me because he didn't play down the stretch, right? So it's 2 things that went into that. First thing is I felt the group that was in there deserved to see if they can pull it all the way out. We were down 8 or 9, and they locked in defensively.
Yeah.
Caleb, Asher, George, Kyle,
Gianni.
and Gianni.
Yeah.
And then between Asher and Davion, I was switching them back and forth, right? And then eventually I put Malachi in for the shooting aspect of it. And just recognizing everybody's strengths and weaknesses. And this is just me speculating.
Yeah, and it's our first game.
And it's our first game.
It's our
And I
first
felt
game.
like, because all of them on their respective teams are on the floor down the stretch. And so, like, they just happens to be my son, which he knows, or he should know, that it's not going to be all the time. Just because you're my kid means that you're going to get this extra whatever. So I felt like he was the energy felt like he was a little salty at me after the game. When he got home, Celeste asked him how the game was. He was like, nah, and, so I was like,
okay.
So when she asked me, like, well, what happened? I'm like, well, he might be a little salty at me. We lost, but he might be a little salty at me. So she was like, wow. I was like, because he didn't play down the stretch. And here's the reason why he didn't play down the stretch. Not just him, but I'm specifically talking about him.
Yeah.
Again, starting with the 5 that was on the floor, they deserved to try to win that game. From the 4-minute mark on, when they was in there, they brought us
All the way back.
So I had made an early decision right away. It's like, I'm going to ride with them. And each time out, I said, we're riding with y'all.
Yeah.
Did I not say that?
Let them know.
Right in the huddle in front of everybody. We're going to ride this out. We're going to see what y'all can do. So Davion had 4 fouls. So it was like, when I put him back in, I told him, I said, use them bitches up.
Yeah.
You got 4. You get 6. You got 2 more to go. So I just rolled with that group. But the second thing is there was a couple different moments of, again, just speaking for Xavier, and I don't like feeling like I'm picking on him because I don't want him to feel like I am picking on him, but like there were certain moments that so all of them.
Like I said, it was our first. I got to keep reiterating, it was our first game, so we're learning everything in real time. You know what I'm saying?
So, but all of them.
Yeah.
If you remember in the beginning of the game, I emphasized let's not just take threes just to be taking threes.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move the ball. So they started off doing that really well.
Yeah.
Then I did feel like all of them at some point took a 3 that was like there was a better shot there. We came down, we jacked a 3. Mally did it once. G did it once. I think Kyle might have did it once. And I think Caleb did it once. And I know Zay did it once as well. Mm-hmm. No knock there, but there was a better shot there. And so I felt like they all was. But then there was other moments where, sometimes I feel like when I try to coach Xavier, again, this could just be me.
Okay.
For the record.
All right.
I feel like there are moments when I'm trying to coach Zay where this is why I stopped coaching him, is that he has a difficult time differentiating dad and coach. And then I also feel like sometimes he thinks that I'm picking on him. But I see him more than any other kid. And so when I see him doing the same things over and over that I've seen for years, it's like you haven't changed that habit.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up about the dynamic of your relationship as father and coach and son. I actually noticed, because when he was injured and wasn't playing, you said the whole time, I can't wait to see him play. I miss seeing him play. Now that he's playing, and he's playing a lot, you have the runs and coaching, I'm like, it brings out a different side of you. Yeah. And it's more, it's like you got more energy, you're excited. So I can see the passion behind it. I can see the passion behind it, for sure.
Me and Celeste, we can literally celebrity death match fist fight on who's his bigger fan. I'm not bullshitting. And Ziggy will throw himself in the mix of wanting a piece of the action as far as celebrity death matching. But I mean, I love watching Xavier play.
Yeah.
And I love watching Xavier make mistakes too, because that's what, to me, that's what life is for. It's like,
sure.
you're going, like, I be trying to get through to him, like, you're going to make a mistake. Like, it's going to happen. You got to get over the fact that you made that mistake.
Your reaction time to that mistake.
Your reaction time to that mistake. You got to get over that shit. And that is one of the things that, again, what I just said, for years I've seen, that's one habit of Xavier's for years that to me is taking the longest to break.
And a lot of players have that, though, because we were talking about that earlier as well, the reaction
they
time
do.
and stuff.
They do. A lot of players do have that, but I'm talking about my child.
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
And that's a habit. It's not a habit that we haven't talked about.
Yeah.
It's not a habit that Coach Hines, Coach Rhodes, Coach Albert, Coach Tillery, Coach Cooper, fucking, you know what I'm saying? Coach Long, maybe Coach Tony for the Woods. I don't know if he actually mentioned it or not. But my point is, it's not a habit that he's not unfamiliar with.
He's aware. He's very aware.
He's very aware.
He's very aware.
And so therein lies the frustration as dad. Then therein lies the frustration and balance of coach. Is that this is a habit that should have been broke. Should have been broke.
I hear you.
Right? We should be working on other habits
I hear you.
to break.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be working on the same habit. And I have noticed with him that there are certain things, and again, it could just be me.
Okay.
There are certain things that Xavier does that seems to only show up when I'm there.
Interesting.
Mistake-wise and otherwise. When other people are telling me like they were at a game or Zay was somewhere and I wasn't there and he was playing, man, he killed, he did this, he did this. It's like, okay, which I know he can do.
Right.
And when I'm there, I just had a eureka moment. I realized that maybe I'm always looking for those mistakes because I know they're going to come.
Because you know they're going to come. Yeah.
And so I see them way more, and I'll be trying to help him not just identify them, but I'll be trying to help him get ahead of, for instance, when he go back to school next year, Coach Albert and them, they're going to want to see that the things that he made mistakes on last year, that he's gotten out of his system. Now, he's about to be technically a sophomore, but a redshirt freshman, second year in college. So the things that he did last year, mistake-wise, they don't want to see that. Or they want to see it as minimal as possible.
Right.
And they want to see the things that they already knew that you could do has elevated, and they want to see some new shit that you've been working on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe should you change your perspective of not looking for the mistakes and looking for something different?
Am I doing a disservice if I'm not looking for the mistakes to help him correct them?
But you know they're going to happen. But so you're going to see them. And then they're like they're not.
So should I
noticeable.
ignore them?
No, I ain't saying ignore them.
So
But I'm just saying expect more of the other stuff. Because you're aware, like he's aware, you're aware. So if
I try to point out the good.
Yeah.
So what I recognize is that people want just as much of the pat on the back as they do as the feedback.
So I'll take the last run, for instance, right? How everybody responded to Xavier as he was playing. You know what I'm saying? He get the steal. They want to see him dunk. They want to see him shoot. It's they're excited.
For the record, I want to see that too.
They're excited. I'm just saying, but they're expecting the highlight. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they wanted. Because they know he can give it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the mistakes, they like you say, everybody has mistakes, and maybe they don't see the mistakes as much. But while people are making mistakes with him, he's taking advantage, get a highlight, you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's what I'm saying you should kind of lean towards more as well.
So that's a great point. And the other thing to that point, to add on to that point, what I realized, and remember I talked about the one kid from the Wolves that used to drive me crazy, and he was at a run recently I saw. Is that what I be trying to get Xavier to get used to coming from me is that it do seem like a lot of coaches, again, with respect to Coach Rose, with respect to Coach Hines, with respect to Coach Albert and Coach Arbery and them from the college he's at, and some of the other coaches. Sometimes, and now I'm speaking as dad. Now I'm about to protect my son.
Okay.
Right now I'm about to protect my son.
Right.
I do sometimes feel like Xavier's mistakes are more highlighted when he makes them than any other player he plays with. And so to combat that annoyance of being pissed off at the coach, meaning I understand they're going to coach that, and I want them to coach that.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like, why are you highlighting his mistake, but you gloss over 5? Xavier, one mistake sometimes. Remember I used to get on JD. The one mistake sometimes that Xavier has, it comes at crucial moments.
Yeah, for sure.
It do.
For
like
sure.
I'll give all the coaches that. They do come to that crucial moments, right? So Xavier be having great game, he killing, dunking and threes and this and that, playing good defense. And then he has one crucial turnover and a crucial moment. And it almost like you forget all of the other good shit. So the dad in me gets so annoyed by these adults who, I'm cool with y'all giving him that feedback of those mistakes, but give him his flowers too.
As well.
Now it's